12 years with Fletcher Homes was a place to learn all about the industry, and after that I decided to set up a business on my own. That was called Accent Homes. In the early days, Graham was my electrician and he's also my brother-in-law, so the business sort of started as a family venture. We ran Accent, Generation and Graham's electrical business. About 2002 we started closing Accent and the electrical business down and focusing on Generation as a project home builder.
When we first joined together as a business and Generation, it was obvious that David would be the manager of the business, coming from Fletcher's, also with his skills in QS and being very analytical and a lateral thinker. My skills are more in the design, product, process. I love people, building relationships and negotiating. So it's one of our key foundation goals is to have people moving on time, on budget, and one of our big goals was to be the biggest builders in New Zealand.
It's been a privilege to be involved with Generation from the outset. Originally David and Graham came to us from looking for accounting services. I think their dogmatic approach to improving systems and processes has allowed both of us to grow. We've grown in the journey and understood more from a client's perspective how important those systems and processes are. But they've also taken along with them, I think, some of the suppliers and worked closely with them to improve communication, improve efficiency and ensure that ultimate customer service at the end has been successfully achieved.
We went from 16 pretty quickly to 30 odd houses, and to cope with the volume really had to build in pretty good systems and processes.
Generation is a people's business, so people are key to our business and our success. When you have a group of people who believe in your vision, your mission and your purpose, this causes a company to have great values, and you can all move together and end up with the right goals.
Look, I've always been really impressed with how aspirational the leadership of Generation has been. The company, it seems to me, has always been very clear on its goals and objectives. And I think that, together with a very real commitment to processes and systems, has really driven the business over the years.
Working for Generation is fantastic. We have a system in place with Generation that allows us to work with them. When a contract comes in, once it goes unconditional, we pretty much know the anticipated dates, we pretty much know the timeline for that build, and we can say with some certainty when those dates are going to be met and when payments will be made. So not only does that help us in terms of gearing ourselves up to deal with the work coming in from Generation, but it also means that we can have some relative confidence when we're talking to lawyers and purchasers on the phone, and we're pretty confident that what we're telling them about payment dates and construction schedules is actually going to be met, by the client, and that's something that definitely helps us in terms of working with Generation to achieve their outcome. I think the other thing that I really like about working with Generation is that the staff they have are all sort of highly trained and very knowledgeable, and not only do we know that we're going to be talking to someone who can deal with the problem, but we'll be talking to someone who's knowledgeable about the product, knowledgeable about the process, and someone that we can have a really informed and helpful discussion with. And trust me, as lawyers, having clients like that is pretty amazing.
Generation's a really great firm to work for because you've got people that have an ownership interest in the company, right from the sales staff to the JV partners, all the way through the owners. Each one of them has a really vested interest in the company performing, much more than just employees do. And you see that when you interact with them and their customers. You will see a real care about the product that they provide to the customers, a real knowledge of who their customers are, and I think that's key to the organisation, is that they have that structure there.
The business has always been in growth mode. In 1999 we built 50 houses. That grew to 1,000 at the 10-year stage, and now we're well over 4,000 houses.
Generation Homes, and particularly David and Graham, have nurtured their people into their business, and even the people that have left have always had passion for both David and Graham and what they were trying to achieve. That was always celebrated throughout the company, always a pile of fun. Makatu, Terrace Downs, Waiheke Island, some really outdoorsy ones where teams got together and people got to celebrate.
MASH was probably one of my favourite themes, actually, to be honest. It wasn't all the nurses' uniforms, it was just the fact that we had such a good party down at the Chateau.
Terrace Downs conference was probably one that you never forget. We drove into Terrace Downs, it was a beautiful sunny day. We woke up in the morning to be snowed in. The power went down, most of our supply partners got in. The band didn't for the gala evening, and we spent the night just having a ball with a cell phone, a Bluetooth speaker, and dancing the night away. Generation as a business was about making business easy and making building easy. And that revolved around a series of systems that weren't really that hard to run. They were about management, about people, about relationships.
We've been working with Generation ever since they started building houses. We were their first kitchen supplier, and we've been their only kitchen supplier over that period. A relationship has grown over that period where we now don't even have to think about the process with Generation. It's smooth, it's seamless, and any remedial issues that do crop up are dealt with on the spot.
Over the years, we've engaged with a lot of smaller companies during our growth, and we've watched them grow at the same rate as we have. Especially in the GFC, when things were really tough, small companies struggled just as we did. It's really great to see them blossom, and as Generation Homes have.
So initially we were introduced to Generation Homes back in 2009 by our local placemakers rep. They put us in touch, and at the time there was two of us working out of my garage at home, and since then, the last 7-8 years, our company has grown due to the relationship with Generation Homes to now being in a nice swanky office with 12 staff. Across the board here in the office we've got maybe 3 or 4 staff members that are pretty well dedicated to their work, and it's great for them to be involved directly with the clients and with the sales consultants right from the initial stage of the project.
When I first arrived, the business was a very successful local business. We're about delivering fixed price on time, consistently, and really meeting the promise we make to our customers. So over the years, that's been the point of difference for Generation. It's what David and Graham established right at the beginning by analysing what the 2 key things that customers wanted. They just really wanted the promise kept. They wanted to pay the price they were agreed and have the house when they were told that they would get the house. Generation Homes, or the old Generation Developments, had really reached its, it was hitting its head on the ceiling. It really couldn't grow any more in the markets that it was in, that was Hamilton and Tauranga. I do remember spending, I think it was at one stage, the first year I was there was over $1 million spent in marketing, and we got less than a 1% increase in market share. So that basically said that we'd gone as far as we could go. We had to expand if we were to grow further. And as a result of that, I recall we moved into Taupo, and that was under management structure. It's very difficult when you're removed from your staff. We don't have a lot of staff in a location. People can get demotivated. You don't quite get the traction that you would like when you're under a management ownership structure. You need local people to have passion and shirt in the game. The joint venture model matched our values as far as sharing, working in partnership and creating win-win relationships. So there were 2 reasons Generation got into land development as far as I'm concerned. One is the success of the business model. We just needed more land, and it was a lot more difficult to get it negotiating with others. You were better to go out and get it yourself. And the other was just purely that build efficiency. That's how you increase your profits and increase your business performance. we did have the Milford project in Tauranga, and that's very much relationship based. When we moved out into other regions, obviously you can't have all the capital you need to go out and buy that volume of land. And over time we've established relationships and just established projects in places such as Paramahoe, out in West Auckland and Riverhead, over in Hamilton we've had Edgeview. And those projects really support our business model. It's what we're all about. As far as what the future holds, we just need to get bigger projects. Jason Rogers has joined Gen New Zealand just specifically for that purpose. We want to expand the project model. If you look at what we have throughout our regions, we've got West Auckland, for example, that's producing multi-generational houses, quite big homes. I know that in Christchurch, we're moving into medium density there, two-level homes. All of those have really created incremental change within the business. The houses we've built and the materials used have really been a response to the marketplace. Our regional teams have looked for ways to maintain or stick to our standard building model, which is a low-risk model, but also create that little bit extra that might give a sense of variation within a subdivision or a sort of uniqueness to each house. Business has changed. We are now a national organisation, but the reality is that the values and the behaviours that form the foundation of this business haven't changed, and they shouldn't have changed. That's what made the business successful. When I look back at Generation and how far it's come, how far our people have grown, the quality of the people we have now, I think there's a fantastic potential